I'd now like to welcome Jose Vizquerra, President and CEO of OIII Mining, to the stage. OIII is a Canadian mineral exploration company committed to developing its extensive portfolio of gold projects in Quebec, aiming to become a leading gold producer.
Bonjour, merci pour attendre la présentation. Good morning, thank you very much for being here. 3 days of a fantastic conference here in Quebec City. Très bel endroit pour tout le monde qui est arrivé à Quebec City. Donc, merci pour venir à Quebec City. C'est un excellent endroit pour nous. Donc, OIII Mining, c'est une entreprise plus spéciale, une entreprise que nous avons commencé en 2019. A company we started in 2019. We have been working for 5 years in this company, and we have advanced the project from an exploration project to today, a project that has already a pre-feasibility study, and it's in the verge of commencing the feasibility study. But it's a very unique project, and you will see as we go through the presentation, some cautionary statements here. It is unique, first of all, because we want to be a producer. We were not set only to do exploration and then move along, but really to put it into production. As you can tell by my accent, when I speak in French, has the Spanish accent. When I speak in English, the Spanish accent as well. I come from Peru, and my dream has been to be the first Peruvian to build a mine in Canada. As I was a kid, I always saw Americans and Canadians building mines in Peru, Australians as well. But I never saw a Peruvian building a mine outside of Peru, so that's my dream. I want to build a mine in Canada. So we have essentially one major project, which is Marban, and we have a good financial situation at this point. We have around $30 million between investments and cash, so we have enough money to advance towards our feasibility for now. What makes us different from other companies is the fact that we as management have over 5% of the company. It's mostly our family from Peru. And also we have a very strong institutional shareholder basis, including some of the investors from the United States, some others from the UK, and other groups from Switzerland. And we are covered by 7 different analysts. We believe in gold, and if you don't do, you better start believing in gold. Every time that interest rates have been coming down, and we have seen that now with the Canadian bank bringing it down, hopefully it does it very, very quickly because it has been only a little 25 points, or 0.25 points. It will continue to rise, and we have seen this over and over again, which is something that we must pay attention. Gold has been rising without interest rates coming down. Therefore, the possibilities of gold really going higher and higher, it's pretty important. What we do need in this industry, what we need as the juniors, what the majors need, is mostly money to come back into our industry, and that would only happen at the moment that our profits, the margins are higher. As of today, the margins in the mining space is only between 20 and 30%. Agnico being the only one with 33% margins. 2009, the margins in the mining business was around 100%. So some people says gold is high. No, gold is not high enough. We need to see margins over 50% to have a new flux of investors coming into the mining industry. First, to those that are already in production, and then for those like us that are in what Pierre Lassonde calls the killing fields, those ones that has de-risked the project immensely and are just about to rise. So we need those guys to come back. We need gold to continue to go up, and will go up. Don't worry about that part. We're in Val d'Or, which is one of the prime jurisdictions in the world for mining. More than 100 million ounces have been found between Ontario and Quebec. As you know, geography does not know about politics, so it actually is a very cortical, big cortical structure like the San Andres Fault. Of course, it doesn't go dextral, sinestral like the San Andres Fault, but the Cadillac Lake Braid has been a very important cortical structure that brought a lot of mineralization, a lot of gold. And we are in that part, we have an immense amount of property there, and we have been finding gold, which is more important. We started with 1.6 million ounces, 1.69 when we started this journey 5 years ago. Today we have 2.9 million ounces. We have been adding in an average of 200,000 ounces per year, and there is no reason why we will not continue to keep adding ounces as we continue. The major two faults, or three faults that go through here goes like this. So I'm going to make it in blue. Goes this way, and like that. And we have been working here in Marban, then in Kirens, Nolartic, and we found recently here another space called Malartic H. And lately we have been working right in this area. And one thing that makes us extremely excited is that most of our mineralization has been in here, from this part to there. Mostly are volcanics. Now we have been starting to find mineralization in this area. And these are actually sediments, are very, very similar to the Temiskaming sediments of Ontario, which has been a very prolific area, an area where a lot of gold has been found. Are not the same sediments as East Goldie, but we are finding now gold in these sediments. It's early days, but hey, stay tuned. Maybe we do have something between our hands. Important to mention, these structures, of course, doesn't stop, and they have been part of those structures that goes together to Kina, which opens the opportunity and the possibility for someone like OIII to find mineralization at depth, probably higher grade. Now, of course, we, as a junior mining company, cannot be imprudent, or better said, we have to be very careful on where we spend our money. So we don't want to spend our money in those ounces that are going to be exploited after year 15. Therefore, we are not going to be drilling underground for now. However, we are drilling in all the surface in order to add the most amount of ounces. This project is also important to mention. The infrastructure around us, it's quite substantial. We have in here the guys from Westdome. We have in here Canadian Malartic. It is literally crossing the railroad where we are in order to get into Canadian Malartic, as you can see from the picture. And important to mention, Canadian Malartic is going through a very special phase where they're moving from an open pit, very big production mine to an underground mine, and they have already an infrastructure for 60,000 tons of ore per year. This has been mentioned by the CEO, Amar, so I'm not saying anything that is not public. Everything is public. They will have an excess of capacity of 40,000 tons per day. And if it is true that we all have to work together and the mining industry has to change and we all have to have synergies, then there should be the opportunity for someone like OIII to be able to process our ore at Canadian Malartic, which will certainly de-risk even more the project, because we will not have to build neither a plant or neither a tailings dam. However, important to say, this project as a standalone project works. And this project as a standalone project today at $2,000 gold per ounce generates around $970 million net present value at 5% interest rate. So even if we take 10% interest rate, because you say, well, 5% is too low, well, let's use 10%. 10% is around $400 million. The company is worth $100 million market cap, and we have $30 million in cash. So from 70 to 400, that's a good space there. We will be producing an average of 160,000 ounces, which means that if we see any of the current producers of 160,000 ounces, we could be valued by the time that we are in production in the order of $1 billion. This to show the infrastructure in place, and of course how close we are from our neighbors. And finally, some numbers from our pre-feasibility study that I mentioned them before. At $2,300, we're post-tax $985 million with a 40% interest rate. At $2,000, $726 with a 32% interest rate. This is how we would look if we were in production and where we will be sitting in terms of production versus market caps of other companies. So if we were in production of 160,000 ounces per year, in the very worst case scenario, we will be in the order of the 600, more likely over $1 billion. Which really states where OIII Mining and Marban is and the opportunity. Because you're really looking into a company where you're going to be buying for fundamental value, a company that is worth $100 million with fundamental value of $1 billion, but a company that still has the opportunity of having exploration potential, finding more ore. As part of our strategy, we believe in the strategy of staking districts, of working in districts, of building districts. That's what we did here in Val-d'Or. The first thing we did when we bought the company was buying Alexandria Minerals in order to extend the mineralization and in order to extend our knowledge in the district. And the second place where we have been working has been here in the Casa Berardi area, where we are building our portfolio there and where we intend to do systematic exploration as well. This is part of the results that we have been having in, or results that are from, from previous drilling in Casa Berardi and things that we're going to be following up by July. And this is how it looks in Horizon. And if I can show you where we were before. Horizon is right in here. This is out of those 3 breaks that I show you. This is sort of a new area, if you want to call it, where we have started to see some indications of a different style of mineralization. This is a VMS style of mineralization. This is more copper gold, not only gold. We will continue to do some work there. We have seen some of the exhalites part of the VMS, of the volcanic massive sulfide upper part of the deposit. We have seen some good response from our IP work, and we will be conducting some exploration or some drilling really during the winter, because we need to wait until the area is frozen to go there. So where we have been since we started in 2019, we have been able to go from a PEA to a pre-feasibility study. Part of our catalyst will be starting our feasibility study. We do not want to start our feasibility study until we don't have clarity if we really will be able to work with our neighbors or not. But one way or another, by the 1st of September, we will make a decision and begin, either with a neighbor or without a neighbor, but we will be advancing. We're not going to be standing here without doing anything. We have been working very hard in ESG. We believe that we do have to be different if we are going to be a new way of doing mining. We have to work together. We have to bring the community, the First Nations, the citizens towards the main objective, which is to work and to get the mine up and running. We have been the first company to do Ecologo, which is one of the proposals from the society, the Association of Explorationists in Quebec. We continue to try to embrace and to bring the best talent into OIII Mining, and to advance the project and to keep discovering deposits, which is what makes our geologists and myself, particularly as a geologist, very excited. And with that, I will conclude the presentation. Thank you very much for your time, for your patience, and I hope you have learned something about OIII. Remember, we are $100 million market cap with a fundamental value of almost $1 billion. Thank you.